to my next video. So today we're going to continue our conversation on the 10 C's with the idea that you are in the backcountry. If you're a boondocker, you're in the backcountry to some degree. Something's happened that has left you stranded or afraid or worried, and you need some emergency supplies. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the last part of the 10 C's of survival, preparation. Again, not crazy conspiracy theory or the world's coming to an end or the bad stuff has hit the fan and it's flying everywhere.
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse. Yep. Actually, that one's okay.
Yeah, that might happen.
That might happen. That was the only realistic one.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the backcountry. You're flooded in. The roads, you can't get out. Whatever it is, how are you going to get by? You have to walk to help. Have a go bag, a bug out bag that will get you through. So that's what we're talking about today. So let's continue where we were. And that one more thing you want to have is a way to create light, candling. Dave did a great, brilliant job of doing C's. Next is candling, and so I'm recommending. Everyone recommends, I think, a headlamp. I have two of them here. I've had this one for a long, long time. It takes AAA batteries. Carry an extra set. Make sure the batteries that are in it are full. Carry an extra set of AAAs, and then you're going to go for a really long time. This one is, it's a much better headlamp, but it is USB charged. It's got its own internal battery. That's a disadvantage in a survival situation unless you're carrying a battery bank for your phone. And that might be something to consider, carrying an extra battery bank to charge your phone. And then you might consider this. What are you using for a candle?
Same thing. I actually have two headlamps as well. I just carry one while I'm backpacking. Mine is the USB charged as well. And I do carry a small battery pack. The reason I like the little battery pack is that I can do my phone, my headlamp, and several other devices on it, so that I don't have to have batteries for each of those devices. I can just have that one battery pack that is more universal. Another one that I always carry is just a little keychain pen light. They're super cheap. They're not super reliable, but at least it's something that if everything else fails, you have this little keychain light that will help you out.
Okay, next is a compass. These are still, we're staying with, I'm staying with Dave Canterbury. He says compass, and he only recommends this compass. And in fact, if you go to a school to take some of his courses, you don't come with this compass, he'll send you home. And the reason is that the one you have?
Yeah, same one.
Look at that. How about that? Yep. It's got a mirror, and you can signal with it. And it's got a little magnifying glass, which you can see splinters with. And it's got, it's an excellent compass. It's got the rotating bevel. You can sight through it. Everything about it. It's just a fantastic compass. This is the Suunto MC2. Actually, I think this is from Finland. It doesn't sound like it, but it's from Finland. Those Finns are pretty smart people. Yep. The Vikings, they got around okay. It's a pretty bad situation. So this is the one he recommends, and I can see it. It's a multi-tool in essence. And you should watch some videos, take some courses, know how to be able to get around with a compass.
Now, I will say, in addition to carrying a compass, well, especially while backpacking, I always carry my GPS. It's just a Garmin GPS, one of the earlier models. Still works fine, but I like it because when I'm out backpacking or hiking, I can backtrack. Now, they do have apps on your phone that'll do the same thing, but my concern is always I don't want to lose all my battery in my phone because I might need to make a phone call. And so I always like having this. This thing has a 30-hour battery life. So not a bad thing to carry if you have one, but for most time, but then you have to worry about battery life, things like that. A compass, very simple, and it never runs out of batteries.
Now we're drifting away from Dave Canterbury's because he focuses so much on wilderness, and that isn't really what we're doing. Next, let's talk about care, and by that I mean first aid. How to take care in a dangerous situation. And I just shot a video with a nurse friend of mine about my first aid kit, and I cannot for the life of me find my first aid kit. So Brian, tell us about your first aid kit.
Sure. So again, I keep it in this little first essentials or 10 essentials kit. And what I have in here is a variety of bandages, have some Advil, some anti-diarrhea medication, some Benadryl, just some of those things that you might need in a bad situation. You get stung by a bee, you start having inflammation, you can take a Benadryl. Or if you have diarrhea and you need to get that to stop, I have medication for that. And so But again, some bandages, things like that. I also keep duct tape on my trekking pole. It's just wrapped around there a couple dozen times. You can use that as a bandaging, material as well. So a lot of the stuff that I have is going to be multi-purpose, but it's a very basic kit. But you can do a lot of things with other stuff in your pack.
Right. So a basic first aid kit, you can buy them.
Hmm.
And I do recommend that if since you're in a vehicle, you don't have to carry a little tiny 10 essentials bag. There's a lot more things you should carry, but that's too complicated to cover here. So just go watch the video that I'm about to put out on putting together a first aid kit. And I think that will explain a lot more detail. Okay, next let's talk about communications. And this is again more of an urban prepper thing.
Hmm.
And so this is what I have for communications. It's a Kato. I'm not sure how to say that. Makes it. It's the Voyager 600. This thing is just revered in the world of preppers and survivalists and people who just believe in being ready. It's multiple powered. It has a solar, and they all work. It's got a wind up. It's got solar. It's got a USB battery bank. You can plug it into, keep it plugged in, and when the power goes out, it's completely charged. You can charge other things off of it. It's a battery bank, USB battery bank, and it's a really good radio. And it does, of course, it does AM and FM, does them really well, and also does ham radio, shortwave. Now it does not transmit. To transmit, you need a license, and you might give serious thought to owning one that transmits, because if it's a life and death situation, you're not going to get a fine or anything if you get on the radio and say, "Come and help me, please." But at least the idea behind this radio is you know what's going on. If there's an evacuation, if there's also it does weather radio, the weather radio alerts from NOAA. The weather is turning to shit. I mean, I don't have to convince you of that. You can deny climate change all you want. The simple fact is the numbers say that the weather has gone nuts. And so having a radio, you all know about all the blackouts we're having and the bad weather. Having this in your rig is that it can power off the sun. You can wind it up with a dynamo. You can charge it off USB and charge other things. This just makes sense. And having a ham access to hearing from ham, even if you can't broadcast, is so really good because you want to keep in touch. Now, something else I do recommend, and I'm not an ham guy or radio guy, but this is a little antenna that you plug in, and I do believe this radio has a plug-in. If not, it clamps onto the antenna,
Mm.
and it will transmit the signal through the antenna. And the idea here is, say you're in an RV, you hang this thing out the window, you take it up on your roof, and you unwind it back and forth across your roof. Or if you got a big tree, you take it out and you throw it up across the tree as high as you can. Or if worse comes to worse, you just lay it out in the ground. It's very long, and it picks up. You're going to get drastically better signal on FM and on ham if you'll just do this. It's not very expensive.
Now, I will say that, so when we're talking about ham radio and that this can receive shortwave, so this is a handheld ham radio. So it's completely programmable. I am ham licensed, so I can use this. But as Bob says, in an emergency situation, if you have one of these and you're not licensed and you broadcast because you need your life saved, it's worth it. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to really harm you for that. But it is really nice. You can get these things really cheap. I bought this probably 10 years ago. It was about $100 back then, but nowadays you can get them for about 20 or 30 bucks. The Bofang are very popular, even a little bit smaller. They have a great range, and there's a learning curve to it. But again, it's not hard to get certified to be a ham operator, and so why not just get that? I think it was 25 bucks to do, and then at least you have some of the stuff behind it.
Now, another one we'll cover here is another C is clothing. And again, if you just have the clothing you need to the weather situation you're in, what I personally recommend is that your go bag, again, you have a go bag, a bug out bag, and you adapt it every 6 months, and also your chow. That'll be the 11th C is chow. You adjust your clothing to the weather. So going into in the fall, going into winter, you put in heavy stuff, and in the spring, going into summer, you adjust it down and put in some lighter stuff. But
You could even put it in a you know, they have the little bags, you know, you could
stuff,
put, yeah,
compression.
stuff sacks, whatever, and you could put, like, you could make one like green for summer and then blue for winter or something like that, and you can just have those so that you can swap it out very easily.
Actually, most guys, what they will do is they'll break all of this down. They won't just shove it all in their go bag. They will put it into a bags, and so they'll have their fire bag. So they pull their fire bag out, and it's all right there.
That makes
And
sense.
they'll have their chow bag, and they'll pull it out, and it'll be and cutting, and all their cutting tools will be together. That's a hard one, but you get the point. You make bags, and then you adjust them, and they'll have a summer bag and a winter bag even.
I always carry several bandanas with me. Again, they're multi-purpose. In your first aid kit, you can use it as a tourniquet. You can use it as a dressing. You can use it as a sling if you hurt your arm or whatnot. You can also, if you need to splint your leg, you have material that you can rip this up and splint your leg. So very, very multi-purpose. I like getting them in brighter colors because, again, it also works as a signaling. So if I need help, I'm waving this around. The bright colors is really handy for that. The other thing is that you can, if it's too hot out, you can dip this in water and wrap it around your neck. It's just so multi-purpose. I always feel you should carry a bandana of some sort around. And also we have one of these, the Shemagh. And basically it's just a light cotton fabric that you can use as a sunshade. You can just put it over your head and immediately I am, in the shade now. I got a 99-cent umbrella that will also work as a good shade structure. Again, kind of clothing, but it's mostly just trying to protect you from overheating.
So going into the winter, you would have maybe a beanie you keep in your go bag and some pair of gloves. You probably want to keep a pair of leather gloves in your go bag at all times, just because when you're processing wood, you're going to cut your hands up.
Yep.
And so in the summer, a hat. I mean, a hat's really, really important.
Wide
Keep
brim.
the sun off your face.
Yep.
A wide brimmed hat. Hopefully better than just a baseball cap because your neck and so on. So you'll have some things that you will adjust for the season, and I don't think I brought it out, a raincoat, because again you have 3 hours if you get soaking wet. And something I really recommend to you is a brand called Frog Togs. Frog Togs is very cheap. They have a coat and a pants set. Buy them separately or together. And they're very inexpensive. They're remarkably durable for their price. And if you just have a set of Frog Togs in your bag at all times, then when the rain comes, you're still they don't breathe perfectly. They're not 100% breathable. But although I think the idea of, I always have an umbrella, a real umbrella, because again, we're in our home, we're in your van, and I just can't imagine you don't have an umbrella. I always have an umbrella with me. I didn't think to bring it out. Okay, finally, one of them I add, we've actually now at 11, is chow. So in my go bag, I am always going to have a certain amount of chow. And this goes along with clothing in that I'm going to change it every 6 months because this stuff will go bad. And it's all processed foods, single package.
That may never go bad, actually.
I'm not sure. It's got a pull date on it.
Yeah.
So, think of it as your duty. Every 6 months, you have to pull this out and eat it and put a new one back in.
There we go.
Yeah, the worst things can happen. Beef sticks, jerky, ramen. You got your stove here, alcohol stove with a container. You can whip up a hot meal out of ramen pretty
25
easily.
cents probably.
Yeah,
right?
and it weighs nothing. It takes up almost no space.
So when I'm backpacking, I always carry an extra bag of ramen as my emergency food. If I get stuck out in the wilderness for an extra day that I wasn't planning on, I carry a little thing of ramen that you can do.
Tuna in a container, I mean, this is just protein. Protein's good. This is going to be a lot of junk.
Yep.
Having some tuna on hand, this weighs nothing. It's not a lot of calories, but still that protein will be really, really good and it'll help you a lot. Couple, 3, 4 of those. Banana chips. This thing is amazing. This is 960 calories.
That's huge. Huge amount of food.
It is. Most of us are going to get 1,000 calories out of a day, but if this is all you had for a day, this would get you a long, long ways.
Absolutely.
So that's what you want to think in terms of is the number of calories. M&Ms. I mean, comfort food. You open up. You got a bag of these. They're not going to go bad. They're not going to melt. I like M&Ms, and this is the big bag. This is just shy of 500 calories. in this bag. And so one of these, again, that's not enough to keep you going, but boy,
That morale boost.
oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just can't go wrong with that. Bars, of course, you're going to have bars. These are the ones I had on hand.
Yep.
But we all like different bars. Make sure you have 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. These are usually 100, 150, 200 calories each.
Yeah, I usually carry a small bar in this 10 essentials that I have, and I just usually keep a single bar. It's just something, you know, not great, but again, the bars are easy to carry.
A couple hundred calories,
Yeah.
and you're going to feel immediately a lift.
Absolutely.
This is oats. You know,
Oh, yeah.
You're capable because you're making fire. You have a pot. You can make oatmeal. This is just instant oatmeal, and this is one of the few things in here that's kind of actually healthy. But a hot chocolate mix, coffee.
Absolutely.
I mean, just the comfort of being able to wake up in the morning and have some instant coffee in a baggie, and you know it's just most of it's up here. Getting through a rough situation is 99% up here, and some normalcy in your life, being able to cook a meal, have some coffee, have a bar to eat, and have as much of this in there as you can. Again, every 6 months, spring and fall, maybe September and May, September and April. You will take everything he has out. You'll change your clothing, and then you will take this all out, eat it, put new stuff in.
There we go.
You can't go wrong that way. But you got some chow, and there you go. And again, you can go 3 weeks without food, but your energy and your strength and your vitality is going to quickly diminish. The longer you go, your mental thinking will decline really quickly. If you can have some of this on hand, you're going to feel better. You're going to have some energy. This is not much weight. This is not much room. This will go in my bag, and this might be the difference. Well, even this video is going to be really long, folks. So we're going to stop here. And Brian, why don't you lead us out?
Okay. So, folks, what did you think of this setup that we have? Like, which of these items do you think that you would feel comfortable going out and grabbing, putting in your pack, and slowly building up that go bag for you? Again, as we mentioned earlier, you don't want to do everything at once because you are going to just drop a lot of money and it's not worth it. Slowly just start bringing things into your bag. So which of these items do you think that you think makes the most sense? Which one would you go out, grab, and put in your bag? Or if you already have a go bag, which items are included in yours? Or anything different than what we have? We'd love to hear in the comments below. So folks, thanks for watching today. We really appreciate your support. And until next time, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all down the road. Bye guys.